In this video, we're going to be factoring a trinomial by grouping. In 1, it says, the middle term of each trinomial has been rewritten. Complete the factoring by grouping. In A, we have 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. And that's equal to 6x squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 2. And they've written our middle term 7x as 3x plus 4x, and they got that by, if you look down into our box at number 3, we have find a times c and find two integers whose product is a times c and whose sum is b. So if we look at a times c, 6 times 2 is 12, and 3 times 4 is equal to 12, and 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. So that's how they've gone from 7x to 3x plus 4x. And now if we want to complete the factoring by grouping, we're going to take a 3x out of the first two terms. And if we factor a 3x out of the first two terms, we're left with 2x plus 1. And out of the last two terms, if we factor a 2 out, we have 2x plus 1. And now we're going to factor out the binomial 2x plus 1. And we have 2x plus 1 times 3x plus 2. In B, we have 5x squared plus 28x minus 12. 5 times negative 12 is negative 60. So we need factors of negative 60 that add up to 28. And we have 30 and negative 2. So we have 5x squared plus 30x minus 2x minus 12. And when we factor that, we're going to take a 5x out of the first two terms, and we're left with x plus 6. And then we're going to factor a negative 2 out of the last two terms, and we're going to have x plus 6. And that's equal to, after we factor out our binomial, we're going to have x plus 6 times 5x minus 2. In 2, we have factor by grouping. In A, we have 10x squared plus 21x minus 10. And the first thing they want us to do is find a times c, and find two integers whose product is a times c and whose sum is b. So a is equal to 10, and c is equal to negative 10. And 10 times negative 10 is equal to negative 100. So we need two integers whose product is negative 100 and whose sum is 21. B is equal to 21. So we could have the combinations of 2 and 50. So we could have negative 2 and 50, and their sum would not give us 21. We could have negative 50 and 2, whose sum also isn't going to give us 21. And then we could have negative 4 and 25, and negative 4 and 25, the sum is 21. So now we want to rewrite the middle term using the integers found above by factor by grouping. So we're going to have 10x squared plus 25x minus 4x minus 10, and this is equal to, and when we factor this, we're going to take a 5x out of the first two terms, and then we have 2x plus 5. And out of the last two terms, we're going to factor negative 2 out, and then we have 2x plus 5. And when we factor out our binomial 2x plus 5, we have 2x plus 5 times 5x minus 2. And now they want us to check. So we're going to FOIL this out, and we're going to have 10x squared minus 4x plus 25x minus 10. And that's the polynomial that we started with. In B, we have negative 8x squared plus 2x plus 15. And the first step they want us to do is factor out a negative 1. So if we factor out a negative 1, our polynomial would be equal to negative 1. And now we're going to change the sign of each term in the polynomial. So we have 8x squared minus 2x minus 15. And we wanted to factor out a negative 1 so that our leading term was positive. And now we want to find a times c and find two integers whose product is a times c and whose sum is b. So we're going to have 8 times negative 15, and that's equal to negative 120. And now we need two integers that multiply together to negative 120 and add up to negative 2. And some of the factors that would equal 120 would be 2 and 60. And remember, because our number is negative, one of these factors is going to have to be negative. But 60 minus 2 or 2 minus 60 does not give us negative 2. And then 3 and 40 and 6 and 20 and 10 and 12. So with 10 and 12, if we did 10 times negative 12, we would get negative 120, and their sum would be negative 2. So we're going to use 10 and negative 12. So now we want to rewrite the middle term using the integers found above. So we're going to have the negative out front, 8x squared minus 12x plus 10x minus 15. And this is equal to negative. And now if we want to factor inside the parentheses, we're going to factor a 4x out of the first two terms. So we're going to have 4x times 2x minus 3. And then we're going to factor a 5 out of the last two terms. And we get 2x minus 3. And now we have the negative out front, and we want to factor out our binomial of 2x minus 3. So we have negative times 2x minus 3 times 4x plus 5. And now they want us to check. So we're going to have negative, and now we FOIL our two binomials, and we get 8x squared plus 10x minus 12x minus 15. And that's the polynomial that we started off with. In C, we have 8x squared plus 26x minus 24. The first thing they want us to do is factor out the greatest common factor. And our greatest common factor is 2. So we have 2 times 4x squared plus 13x minus 12. And now they want us to find a times c and find two integers whose product is a times c and whose sum is b. So a times c is 4 times negative 12, which is equal to negative 48. And now we need two integers whose product is negative 48 and whose sum is 13. So 48, we could have 2 and 24. We could have 3 and 16. Because our a times c is negative, one of the factors has to be negative. And if we did 16 minus 3, we would get 13. So we're going to use 16 and negative 3. So now we want to rewrite the middle term using the integers found above. So we're going to have 2 times 4x squared plus 16x minus 3x minus 12. And that's equal to 2 times, in the first two terms, we're going to factor out a 4x. So we have 4x times x plus 4. And in the last two terms, we're going to factor out a negative 3, minus 3 times x plus 4. And now we're going to factor out our binomial. So we have 2 times x plus 4 times 4x minus 3. And now they want us to check it. So we have 2 times, now we're going to FOIL out our binomials, and we get 4x squared minus 3x plus 16x minus 12. And that's the polynomial that we started with. In D, we have 9u squared minus 13u plus 4. So a times c would be 9 times 4, which is equal to 36. Now, in this polynomial, a times c is a positive number, but our b term is negative. So we're going to need two negative integers so that the product ends up being positive and the sum ends up being negative. So for 36, we could use negative 9 and negative 4. Negative 9 times negative 4 is positive 36, and negative 9 minus 4 is negative 13. So we're going to rewrite the middle term using the integers from above, and we get 9u squared minus 9u minus 4u plus 4. And now when we factor by grouping, we're going to factor out a 9u from the first two terms, and then we get u minus 1. And in the last two terms, we're going to factor out a negative 4, and we have u minus 1. And now we're going to factor out our binomial. So this is equal to u minus 1 times 9u minus 4. And now they want us to check. So let's FOIL this back out, and we get 9u squared minus 4u minus 9u plus 4. And that's the polynomial that we started with. In E, we have 9u squared minus 13uv plus 4v squared. And it says, how does this problem relate to the problem above? If you look at the coefficients, they're the same. And the one thing that we can notice that's different is now we have two variables. So the coefficients were the same, but now we have a v included. So we have two variables. Now they want us to rewrite the middle term by factor by grouping. So this time we're going to have 9u squared minus 9uv minus 4uv plus 4v squared. And when we factor by grouping, we're still going to factor a 9u out of the first two terms, and that leaves us with u minus v. Out of the last two terms, instead of just factoring a negative 4 out like we did last time, we're going to factor out a negative 4v. And when we factor in negative 4v, we're going to have u minus v. And now we're going to factor out our binomial, u minus v. And then we have u minus v times 9u minus 4v. And now they want us to check. So when we FOIL this back out, we get 9u squared minus 4uv minus 9uv plus 4v squared, which is the polynomial that we started with. And that's all for this video on factoring a trinomial by grouping, part 2.